We were out raking leaves, me, my grandma, my brother, and my mom, and then I came in to see if my dad would want to come help us, and he wasn't feeling that great that day.
He was barely responsive. She came out and said he was tired.
I just didn't really feel like going out. I felt a little dizzy.
Daddy, you want to come help rake the leaves? Come on. And he was kind of sleeping. And I was like, he's probably just tired. And I didn't really want to bug him that much since he was not feeling that good. Eventually went back outside about 5 minutes. And then about 15 minutes later, my mom came in and I hear her yell.
He was non-responsive, and we all came in the house, and she had to give him the glucagon shot. He was seizuring. It was terrifying.
I'd actually taken off my pump and I was getting ready to change it, and I was sitting in a chair, and so I didn't even have any insulin on me. So I was not getting any insulin in my body, and all of a sudden I was kind of out of it.
When he finally woke up, he didn't have a clue what happened. So it's scary. It's very scary for me.
That shot doesn't work right away, and it was several minutes before he became aware of his surroundings again, and a lot of stuff goes through your mind in that time.
That is one of the things that, even though I had the best equipment in the world, is all it takes is one little, either an error or something that you can't predict.
What if, my mom didn't go in there, or what if nobody found me? And that could be it. Stories like this still happen every day. Over the years, we've come a long way with treating diabetes, but we still have lots more work to do. My name is Jillian Rader, and there are 3 generations of diabetics in my family. My dad was diagnosed when he was 2 years old, a really long time ago, back in 1966. Back then, they just had invented the disposable syringes, which was lucky because before you had to boil it instead of having a reusable needle.
Well, I got diabetes when I was 2. And so initially, my parents took care of me. And I think as I got older, they would give me shots, and we would initially back in the days, we would pee on a stick. Your urine is not very exact. It doesn't give you a very good reading at all of what your current blood sugar is.
The Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation was founded in 1970. The fight to cure diabetes finally had its champion.
We've been real involved with JDRF, and there's a lot of causes, and this is one where we can see it impacting our own lives as well as, millions of people.
It wasn't until my dad was in high school that the glucose meter was invented, and that was a huge advancement for diabetes. I can't even imagine what it was like for my dad.
As I got later in high school, toward the end of my high school, close to graduation, we got a blood testing meter. But the first meter I had, it took 2 minutes to check your blood sugar. Today it's 5 seconds.
In 1987, diabetes struck our family again. Both my Aunt Lisa and my grandma were diagnosed.
I worked in a hospital, so it was a little bit easier to understand, but I was misdiagnosed and went for years thinking if I'd lived my life a little differently, I wouldn't have it. Of course, that wasn't the case, so.
I was diagnosed when I was starting my senior year of college, and I had dropped about 25 or 30 pounds, and very thirsty, all the traditional symptoms, and I kind of was in denial. My brother was diagnosed when he was 2, and so I did know the symptoms, and I knew what it was like to live with it, so I think that's probably why I was in denial. Literally for months, I walked around with diabetes before telling anybody.
The next big leap forward for my dad came in 2003 when he got an insulin pump.
It used to be when you go out for dinner, if I would go out anywhere and I wanted to have something to eat, I would have to give a shot. And so what you'd have to do is get up from the table, go to the bathroom, go into a stall, and try to draw up your syringe in a dirty stall. And that was not very fun to do that. And so once I got the pump, I'm just able to sit at a table and, as I've got here my pump, and reach down and go like that and give the insulin. So that makes it a lot easier than what it used to be, and it makes it so you can live your life more like a normal person.
In 2009, my life changed forever. I was diagnosed with diabetes when I was only 5 years old.
It just broke my heart. I can kind of feel it when I'm getting low, and I can do things about it, but with a child, especially as young as she was when she was diagnosed, and just knowing that she's gonna have her whole life. You know, I was 21, I was an adult, and I could handle it, and I could understand it. But with a cute little girl like Jillian, it just broke my heart.
One of the things she said when she first was diagnosed was she just wanted to be normal. I think she still feels that way, but she's managing and understands, but it's never out of your mind. You have to think about it every minute.
I remember the day I believe Jillian got diabetes. I think it was October 8th of 2009, and she had been going to the bathroom and, a little bit more than normal and things like that. And my wife and I both decided to check her on our meter and on my meter. And we checked it, and her blood sugar was over 200, and I think we checked it twice to confirm it. And when we saw that, we knew that she likely had diabetes, and we both kind of cried about it.
It's pretty scary, and it's hard to think about. If I have a serious low, I could not come back from that. There are amazing things on the horizon for those of us with type 1 diabetes. If nobody would have created JDRF in the first place, there'd still be the diabetic companies, but we wouldn't be nowhere near where we are now.
I've probably had about 10 ambulance calls in my life to save my life. And so I don't want that to happen to my daughter. I don't want it to happen to anybody again. And hopefully, with all the developments we've got out there, it won't.
The research is being done, and advancements are being made, so you feel really good about giving your money to JDRF.
For generations of type 1 diabetics, waiting for a cure.